What's up, GearAmerica Nation? This is Chris coming to you from the GearAmerica Workbench, and today we're going to talk about servicing your snatch block. Welcome back, and I know in previous videos I've always talked about the snatch blocks as being fully serviceable. They've got a circlip here, they've got a zerk fitting so you can grease them up and keep them lasting forever, but today I want to walk you through exactly how to take them apart. I have an Ultra Snatch here and a Mega Snatch here, and as you can see they're both pretty similarly built but of different materials. So you've got the two plates, you've got a cylinder going through the middle with a greasable zerk fitting on it, you've got a circlip right here. Now a lot of people call these C-clips, but technically these are almost a full circle, so people call them circlips if you want to be technically correct. Either way, they're just a spring-loaded circle retainer holding the plate in along this cylinder, and I'll get to that in a minute. Then of course you've got the pulley right in the middle. So not a ton of parts on this, but like I said, 100% fully serviceable. So I'm going to set the Ultra Snatch aside here, and we'll take a look at the Mega and how to take it apart for servicing. Let's take a closer look here. There really isn't a ton to this other than fantastic materials and engineering going in to make this beast. You've got two plates. One, two, you've got a pulley in the center, and this pulley is riding on this large cylinder right here that goes all the way through to the other side, is held in by the circlip, and has a greasable zerk fitting right there. So to service this guy, the first thing we're going to want to do is take off this circlip. Now there's a few ways of doing this, and the most simple way is going to use circlip or retainer ring pliers like these. These are available at any hardware store or any auto parts store. They're not very expensive, and I highly recommend picking them up. They come in different shapes and sizes, like this is a sideways one here. This is more of a scissor here, but this one's my favorite, and what we're going to do is we're going to take it and we're going to put these two tips right in here. I'm going to tilt this sideways so you can see it better. We'll give it a squeeze, and as you can see, it stretches out that circlip, and we'll set it aside. So now we can take off the top plate, set it here. We can take off the pulley, set it here, and we can remove the bottom plate, and here is the cylinder. As you can see, it's got the zerk fitting right here, and what it does is when you pump grease into that, it fills the cylinder and squirts it out through this hole. I've got a screwdriver here. I don't know if you can see this, but this is actually ridged a little bit. You hear that? So when grease gets in it, it'll sit in those little ridges and keep it spinning really nice right here on the pulley. All right, so now this is a brand new one, so obviously there's no grease in it yet. I just wanted to show you the anatomy of it. So if we're putting it back together, you do the exact same thing in reverse. Take your cylinder, put one plate on, put the pulley on, put the other plate on, and you take your circlip, give it a squeeze to stretch it back out, and put it right on that ridge. Now let me show you the ridge real quick. I didn't cover that. Let me pop this back off and show you close up. So you'll notice the cylinder in the center has this ridge. That's what the circlip rides in. That's what keeps everything in place. So it clips right into that. So go ahead and put it back together, put the circlip back on, and make sure it's in the ridge. Now, sometimes you'll get it on and it'll be just barely on like this. Maybe it went too far or not far enough. Always check it and make sure it's sitting in that ridge, and you'll know because it'll spin freely like this. Now there's other ways to get these off if you don't have circlip retainers. A lot of times you can take a screwdriver and you can put it right here in the gap and twist it, and it'll stretch it out. Take another one and pop it out, or you can use a small screwdriver and get underneath it here, hold it, and use a pair of pliers to stretch it out. Those are obviously a little bit more difficult than using the retainer pliers, and that's why I recommend getting a set of these. Now, if you don't have the circlip tool, I'll show you how you can put it back on without using any fancy tools. Let me get the camera a little bit closer here. All right, so now to replace it, you take your circlip and we'll just set it on top of this barrel. And essentially what you're gonna do is you're gonna push one tab into the ridge and work your way around. So I like to use just a regular set of needle nose pliers because it's kind of got a blunt end on it. And we'll push one side down into the ridge. So you can see, one side is already into the ridge. And then you just kind of work your way around. This can be kind of stiff, just doing a little bit as you go. And when you get to the most resistant point, you can take your pliers, grab the tab on one side, and give it a little pull and twist until it drops down in, and it's resting in the ridge, and it spins freely. Honestly, you've got a beautiful snatch block. No matter which one you buy, it's fully serviceable with a lifetime warranty. So that's it. Pretty simple, right? It's only a few parts. You can take it apart, clean it up, make sure it's all working well, put it back together, grease it up, and you are good to go for a lifetime. So that is your basic teardown and maintenance of a GearAmerica Snatch Block. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns about this, leave them below or shoot me an email at chris@GearAmerica.com. Also, do me a favor, hit that like, hit that subscribe, and ring that bell. That way you'll be notified every time we come out with more tech tips, tabletop tech specs, fun adventures, news, anything that comes out on YouTube, and you'll be the first to know. So for GearAmerica, this is Chris signing off. And as always, off-road smart and tread lightly.